Welcome back to Healthy Living for Life. We're joined now by Tori Widowick, who is a physical therapist. Tori's going to show us some great exercises to strengthen and stretch the spine. Hi Tori, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're not a stranger to the show, you've been on before, so thank you.
I have.
Yes, so before we get into the demonstration this morning, could you tell us a little bit about why it's important to exercise your back and how a healthy spine is important to overall health?
So your spine, if you want to think about it, and Trapper talked about kind of the foundation of our body. Our spine, if we don't have it, we're falling down. So it's really important to keep the mobility, keep it strong, and keep it flexible so that we're able to do what we want to do in our functional daily activities.
Makes complete sense. So, you know, I know often people injure their back while lifting things. We talked about this with Trapper, of course, and what do you need to keep in mind when lifting to protect your back? What are the important concepts there?
Yeah, this is really important, especially because right now people are shoveling snow, even though we don't have any right now.
Yes,
but
right.
You got to be careful of your back. When we're lifting anything, if it's really heavy, obviously ask for help if you feel like you can't do it on your own. But if you can have an object next to your center of mass or closer to your body, so you're not lifting from way out here, bringing it closer is the most important thing too, because that takes less stress off your back. And then what we talk about in physical therapy is hip hinging. And I talked about this a little bit before about how you need to make sure that you're hinging from your hips and not from your back. So when you're lifting, you should never feel any pain in your back. It should just be from your hips. So if you're feeling that when you're lifting, you're probably arching your back a little bit. So making sure you're sticking your butt back and your knees aren't going over your toes and you're lifting from your center of mass and using your buttocks strength and your hamstring and your quads to pick something up versus your back.
That makes complete sense. And I guess along those same lines in terms of like twisting while you're lifting, I mean, I'm assuming it's very important not to be at an angle or anything like that, like straight on.
Oh, definitely. And especially if you have osteoporosis, any of those end range twisting and a lot of extension or flexion forward can put you at higher risk for compression fractures, which is what Trapper talked about too.
Sure.
So being aware of that as well.
Okay. So let's get into some stretches and exercises. I'm glad you came prepared to do some show and tell today. So let's look at a couple stretches first for a strong and healthy back. That'd be awesome.
Perfect.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So most of us, we usually work at a desk, we're on our phones, we're typing. So a lot of us get a lot of this forward shoulder and head position.
Yes.
And so I see that in a lot of my patients sitting like this. And I even feel myself doing it at times too.
Yes.
So one of the important, like a flexibility or range of motion stretch that you could do for your thoracic spine is actually taking a chair, kind of like this one that has a hard back or no rolly wheels. I don't want you rolling away when you're doing this. But you can either put your hands behind your head in this position here, if your shoulders allow, but if not, you can cross here. And what you're gonna do is just a gentle little back bend until you feel a good stretch in the back and then in the front part of your chest here too. Because when your pecs get really tight, they pull on the thoracic spine, which is that middle part of your back.
Sure.
That a lot of us get that back pain. So if you can work on getting that range of motion and hanging out in that end range for a little bit and then coming forward, you can help improve that back mobility and then stretch it out a little bit too.
Excellent.
So I would do about maybe 10 repetitions and then take a break with that one.
And yeah, how often during the day would you recommend somebody do that?
Well, they say you should do it at least every 45 to an hour. If you're sitting at your desk, you should do it pretty often.
Okay.
Because it only takes 15 minutes to get an upper trap little knot that a lot of us have if we're in static sitting for a long time. So if you can improve that, you get less neck pain and back pain with that too.
Makes complete sense.
Perfect. So then there's another exercise I'm going to show you where you can bend forward. So be careful if you have osteoporosis or something that you're concerned about. Obviously ask your doctor, your physical therapist, if this is okay for you to do. But you would reach forward towards your toes here and you would just kind of drape your head down and just let your body relax. When you do that, the muscles along your spine go into a nice good stretch. And we say hold it for about 30 seconds to 45 seconds to get that ultimate stretch that you need. And then you can play around with it a little bit. You can kind of reach over to the other side and get that nice lat stretch, which comes all the way down to your hip, and then go the other way as well. So kind of play around it, listen to your body. Your body is going to tell you if it likes it. If it's painful and in sharp, obviously back off a little bit and reset. Awesome. So that's a good one for a desk stretch.
Perfect.
The other one you could do for a standing stretch is what we call like an L stretch. So at home, if you have a counter that's about this height, or if you want to use your sink or something that you can grab onto so that it doesn't roll away or you fall backwards. But this one's going to get not only the neck, the middle part of the back, and then the low part of the back as well. So you would grab onto that sink and you would take your hips back where you feel pretty comfortable, and you're going to lean forward here and just let your head hang and hold your stretch. Again, this shouldn't be painful. It should be comfortable and tolerable for you as well. So
Excellent, thank you.
yeah.
So how about a couple of simple exercises that folks can do at home to help strengthen their backs?
Perfect. So posture's huge.
Yes.
You just talked about that as I'm
Yes,
sitting here.
yes.
So a really easy thing you can do at your desk for those 35 to 45 minutes, if you're sitting there and you feel a little tight, is to work on some postural strengthening. So you can come up with your upper traps, then you can sneak back and pull them together, your shoulder blades, and then sink them down. And then hold that for about 3 seconds, and then release. Just doing that little bit of motion helps reset our shoulder blades and tells them to start firing to take pressure off our back. So I do about 10 repetitions throughout the day and just see if I can work on my posture a little bit better with those too.
Awesome.
So that's something simple.
Okay.
You could also kind of pretend like you're rowing. You can sit upright when you're doing this too, and you can just take your arms back and squeeze those shoulder blades. Try not to do this and squeeze back, because that just activates those upper neck muscles where we can get a lot of neck pain too.
Sure.
So make sure they're down and then row back and hold those ones as well. So that can help with the upper back strength for those
Awesome.
ones.
Perfect.
Yes. So for standing though, so say you're not sitting, for standing what you could do is you could do a standing plank.
Okay.
So if you have really bad wrists, you could do it on your forearms too.
Okay.
But if for demonstration, I'll just do it this way. What you could do is put your feet back a little bit further so you feel like you're leaning into either a counter or a table, or if you have a chair that doesn't have wheels, that's pretty stable. And your feet are shoulder width apart. That's the most important part. And that your hands are about shoulder width apart as well. So with this, you want to make sure that you're using a lot of your core muscles. So you want to think about taking your belly button to your spine and really engaging those muscles as you hold your body weight up to engage not only your core and your back, but also your buttock region,
Sure.
which helps with lifting.
Perfect.
So there you go.
Awesome.
That would be another one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tori. Thank you so much. Those are extremely helpful.
You're welcome.
And thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate it. You always have great information to share. It's a pleasure.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. I also want to thank Trapper for coming on our show. I hope you learned about spine health and enjoyed our show this week. See you next week. And in the meantime, stay fit, stay well, and stay healthy for life with Healthy Living for Life.
Healthy Living for Life is brought to you by Mountain Pacific Quality Health. We'd love to hear from you. If you have suggestions for future programs, visit our website at mpqhf.org or call us at 406-443-4020. You can also catch us on YouTube by visiting our website and clicking on the YouTube icon. Special thanks to Fire Tower Coffee House and Roasters. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions.